Circle Time friends, it's Cassie Zahersky, children's book author and illustrator, and today I'm going to be reading a hilarious book from the fabulous Granny series. It is called Granny's Birthday Cake Won't Go Out. Granny has a squillion candles on her birthday cake, and the whole family goes around the twist as they try to help her blow them out. Let's read the story to see what happens as they try, shall we? Granny's Birthday Cake Won't Go Out, written and illustrated by the very talented Becci Murray. Granny had a birthday cake with multicolored sprinkles, and as we lit the flames, she smiled.
That's one for every wrinkle.
A squillion candles.
It went up like a bonfire. We saw Granny pull a face. Then Grandpa muttered,
"Oh, astronauts will see that thing from space!"
The blaze grew so enormous on that tasty birthday treat that Uncle tried to barbecue a sausage in the heat.
That startled pigeon impression.
Then just as Mum said,
Make a wish and blow the candles out.
from somewhere in the cloud of smoke, we heard poor Granny shout.
I cannot put these candles out. There simply are too many. I've tried to huff and puff them, but I haven't put out any. This birthday cake's a problem no amount of breath can fix. 'Cause no one's seen a blaze like this since 1666.
The Great Fire of London has got nothing on Granny's cake.
And even though this birthday cake is gooey, sweet, and sticky, a barbecued vanilla sponge sounds really rather icky. Oh, won't somebody tell me how this pickle came about? 'Cause birthdays aren't so happy when your cake will not go out.
Grandpa had a brainwave and he shouted,
"No one panic! Let's put these nibbles somewhere else and use this tray to fan it!"
He belted to the table like a runner in a race. As bit by bit we watched him shove the buffet in his face.
Grandpa's party shirt.
He snaffled and he snuffled. With a swallow and a slurp, he gulped a jug of fizzy drink with one colossal burp. Then once the tray was empty, Grandpa wafted it about. And as the mighty flames roared on, he heard poor Granny shout.
We cannot put these candles out. There simply are too many. Your grandpa tried to fan them, but he hasn't put out any. He thought it would be good to use his great big jelly brain. But now my crown is wonky and my hair has gone insane. What's more, we have no yummies 'cause he's emptied all the bowls by chopping through a bumper pack of mini sausage rolls. Oh, won't somebody tell me how this pickle came about? 'Cause birthdays aren't so happy when your cake will not go out.
Mother feared the plastic birthday tablecloth would melt and quickly pulled a pair of water pistols from her belt.
Mum's mean and menacing face.
She aimed them at the burning cake. She raised her chin up high. She placed her feet too far apart and calmly closed an eye. And as the scorching sponge cake made her face turn fiery red,
This party just ain't big enough for both of us,
she said. She squeezed the squirters with a grin. 2 water jets came out, and as they shot straight past the cake, we heard poor Granny shout.
We cannot put these candles out. There simply are too many. Your mother tried to squirt them, but she hasn't put out any. She really thought 2 splasharoos were bound to do the trick, but Mother couldn't even hit a turnip with a stick. So now my hair is soaking and my makeup isn't right. And all because your mother watched that cowboy film last night. Oh, won't somebody tell me how this pickle came about? 'Cause birthdays aren't so happy when your cake will not go out.
Father scratched his head and then he bellowed,
"Don't despair!"
as with a little squeak of joy, he leapt up from his chair.
That's happy dance.
He shot into the greenhouse like a flying rubber band, then galloped through the doorway with a bucket full of sand. He raised it to his shoulder and he moved towards the cake. As Mother pleaded,
Father, put that down for goodness sake!
But Dad was on a mission. Yes, of that was no doubt. And as the bucket left his hand, we heard poor Granny shout.
We cannot put these candles out. There simply are too many. Your father threw some sand on, but he hasn't put out any. Quite why he thought his plan would work, I do not understand. And now I'm buried to the waist in itchy, scratchy sand. He should have thrown his birthday girl a party hat instead. For no one spends their birthday with a bucket on their head. Oh, won't somebody tell me how this pickle came about? 'Cause birthdays aren't so happy when your cake will not go out.
Auntie left the garden through a washing line of clothes, then came back on an engine with a yellow fireman's hose. She screeched up to the table and stopped in front of Gran.
If anything can work,
She cried.
this hose pipe surely can.
Granny's lucky underpants aren't bringing her much luck today.
The siren wailed. Poor Gran went pale. The hose began to shake. Then Auntie lifted up the pipe and aimed it at the cake. And a sudden jet of foam came quickly blasting out. From deep within the frothy mess, we heard poor Granny shout.
We cannot put these candles out. There simply are too many. Your auntie drove a Nina, but she hasn't put out any. The foam burst from the hose pipe and came down like white confetti. Now everyone who sees me will mistake me for a Yeti. And even though her engine is a lovely shade of red, it's flattened my geraniums and broke my garden shed. Oh, won't somebody tell me how this pickle came about? 'Cause birthdays aren't so happy when your cake will not go out.
Uncle put 2 fingers in his mouth and gave a whistle. And all the tiny hairs on Granny's chin began to bristle.
To put cakes out, my uncle said, you must use common sense.
And as he spoke, an elephant came bursting through the fence.
He shouted, this way, Nellie!
And the beast came running fast. As Granny gasped,
I fear this birthday may just be my last.
the creature raised its bendy trunk like one enormous spout, and as it trumped a giant splash, he heard poor Granny shout.
We cannot put these candles out. There simply are too many. Your uncle called for Nellie, but he hasn't put out any. Now everybody's soaking wet, the party decks are soggy, the garden gnome is swimming and the lawn is rather boggy. The shed is floating down the path, the picnic bench has sunk, and all 'cause Nellie emptied out the contents of her trunk. Oh, won't somebody tell me how this pickle came about? 'Cause birthdays aren't so happy when your cake will not go out.
The garden went as nutty as a squirrel's shopping list. As one by one I watched them go completely round to the twist. I stared as Grandpa leapt about like some enormous flea, and held my breath as Auntie climbed a 10-foot apple tree. Then Father did some ballet with a strange look on his face, as Mother hugged the garden gnome whilst staring into space. And just as Uncle crawled away to hide amongst the heather, I stood up next to Gran and yelled,
You need to work together!
They gathered round the birthday cake. I knew just what to do. So on my signal, everybody pursed their lips and blew. As the furnace fluttered and the candles flickered out, we whooped a little birthday cheer while Granny gave a shout.
Hooray! We blew the candles out. Oh, what a super day. I thought those pesky birthday flames would never go away. We learnt to work together, and we learnt to try again. We learnt that Grandpa's belly is much bigger than his brain. But out of all the things we learnt, one thing is crystal clear. My cake has lots of candles, but I'll need one more next year.
I hope you guys enjoyed. Granny's birthday cake won't go out as much as my household does. We just love it. It's definitely a favorite. And I will see you next time. Bye, Circle Time friends.